Srila Prabhupada Saraswati is explaining that the devotees of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, they go places where no one else ever went before. And they are experiencing great inspiration and no interest in anything but the lotus feet of Krishna's devotees. So in this way we are approaching Radhashtami. These are our first moments of contemplation today. We have already started celebrations full of enthusiasm, but now is a moment of contemplation. And we begin our contemplation that we cannot go such places. When Lord Chaitanya and Ramananda Rai began to discuss the nature, qualities, and pastimes of Radha and Krishna, they spoke for some time. And Ramananda Rai was gradually explaining the essence of devotional service. And that Srimati Radharani is the embodiment of devotional service. And then at one point, Ramananda Rai continued to speak about Radha and Krishna, and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu just covered his mouth and said, this goes beyond discussion. This goes beyond discussion. So I will take a few verses now from the Ramananda Sampat, or the 8th chapter of the Madhya in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, where Ramananda Rai is speaking a little bit about Srimati Radharani before Lord Chaitanya covered his mouth. So let's see. Krishna Kaya Tattanamalani Sei Sattador Shukya Shvadahani. The potency called Ladini gives Krishna transcendental pleasure. Through this pleasure potency, Krishna personally tastes all spiritual pleasure. Sukharupa Krishna Kare Shukya Ashvada Bhaktagana Sukharite Ladinkaram. Lord Krishna tastes all kinds of transcendental happiness, although he himself is happiness personified. The pleasure relished by his pure devotees is also manifested by his pleasure potency. Ladinirasaramsa Tara Premana Anandachimaya Rasa Premira Akya. The most essential part of this pleasure potency is love of God and prayer. Consequently, the explanation of love of Godhead is also a transcendental melody, full of pleasure. Premir Paramasha Mahavajani Sei Mahavarupa Radhatakurani. The essential part of love of Godhead is called Mahabhava, transcendental ecstasy. And that ecstasy is represented by Srimati Radharani. Tayorapi Uvayormaje Radhika Sarvadadika Mahabhava Sarupeyam Gune Ativarishyasi. Among the gopis of Vrindavan, Srimati Radharani and another gopi are considered chief, but when we compare the gopis, it appears that Srimati Radharani is most important because of her real feature expresses the highest ecstasy of love. The ecstasy of love experienced by the other gopis cannot be compared to that of Srimati Radharani. Premira Swarupadeke Premira Swarupadeha Prema Vibhavita Krishna Prayasi Shesna Jagata Vidita. The body of Srimati Radharani is veritable transformation of love of God. She's the dearmost friend of Krishna, and this is known throughout the world. Ananda Chinmaya Nasa Pratibhavitavis Tamirya Eva Nija Rupa Daya Kanavi Goloke Eva Niva Satya I worship Govinda, the primal Lord, who resides in his own realm, colloquial with Radha, who resembles his own spiritual figure and who embodies the ecstatic potency Ladini. Their companions are her confidants, who embody extensions of her bodily form and who are imbued and permeated with ever blissful spiritual lives. Say my Chintamani Star, Krishna Shapurakarim Ekarita. That supreme ecstasy of Srimati Radharani is the essence of spiritual life. Her only business is to fulfill all the desires of Krishna. Mahabhav Chintamani Radharaswarup Lalita Visakitari Kaya Vivaru. Srimati Radharani is the topmost spiritual gem, and the other glories, Lalita, Vishaka, and so on, are expansions of her spiritual body. Radha Bhakti Krishna Sneha Sugandhi Upartam Tatyati Sugandhi Dev Ujvalavaram. Srimati Radharani's transcendental body is brilliant in luster and full of all transcendental fragrances. Lord Krishna's affection for her is like a perfumed massage. Karunyam Vittadarya Snanam Pratam Tarunyam Vittadarya Snanam Hanyam. Srimati Radharani takes her first bath in the shower of the nectar of compassion, and she takes her second bath in the nectar of youth. Maybe I'll speak a little and then continue reading. Om Jnana Savina Savakya Shakshuri Vidanya Tasmai Shri Guru. When one is impure, and there are many, even the most subtle, sinful desires within the living being's consciousness, then that manifests in sinful bodies. And thus all living beings have bodies that are blocking them from doing many of the things they want. This is the nature of material existence. We are all in a body which is made up of accumulated sinful and pious reactions, and as a result, we are not able to fully express what we want. Always we hit the limitations in anything. Limitation of beauty, limitation of intelligence. One can sing, and one can be the greatest singer, but then there's a note one can't hit. It's just that note, there's one note you can't hit what to do. Although you can hit many and other may not hit. So it is. There is a speed limit, even in Germany, believe it or not. In other words, we are limited. We are limited to what we can do. But first of all, we should understand that that is due to our sinful reactions, due to the fact that there is sin in our consciousness. These are the things that block us from fully expressing ourselves. Whereas Srimati Radharani is rather the opposite. She is so completely pure that there is no impediment in her life. There's nothing that blocks her from fully expressing herself. She has all the facility, everything, because she is in no way misusing. We tend to sometimes drift off in dark lanes in the consciousness where we don't want to go, or worse, where we do want to go. Whatever may be, let's not go. But such dark lanes do exist in our consciousness. So Srimati Radharani is of such a level of purity that her entire being, 100%, every fiber of her existence is aimed to please Krishna and nothing else. Completely that. So this is something so extraordinary that what can we say? It is something we can talk about, but we cannot imagine it. It's not possible. Because everything we see through our sinful eyes. Everything is colored by our sinful mind. Everything even transcendental knowledge, we filter it through a filter of sinfulness. That is our situation. Anyway, enough of that. We are going forward and we are looking at Srimati Radharani, who is the emblem of purity. But in order to approach her, we do require to be reverential, to appreciate that we are here approaching Srimati, the one who is full of all transcendental opulences, full of all transcendental wealth, who is Srimati, who is full expression of all facilities. Krishna has given her everything. Therefore, what can we say? The beauty of Srimati Radharani is not only beauty that is skin deep, it is her very being, her very nature. It expresses her purity. Even in this world, when we see someone of extraordinary beauty, or even when Putana came. Even when Putana came, everyone was overwhelmed and thought she must be a goddess. Because such beauty cannot be found in an ordinary person. She must be a very elevated, pure personality to be so beautiful. That's what everyone thought. Not entirely the case. But in the case of Srimati Radharani, we appreciate that beauty is really completely aligned with every aspect of her being. Kanana Daya. So, Srimati Radharani takes her first bath in the shower of the nectar of compassion. That's the first thing. That's her first and foremost thing, her first bath. So, she is always thinking like this. That's what it means. It means that in our consciousness, compassion is in the forefront. Somehow or other, let us give mercy, let us give Krishna's mercy to all and everyone. We can see how that is very deep in her. And she takes her second bath. The first one in Karunyamrita, the second one in Tarunyamrita. In the nectar of youth, Taruni, a young girl. Yes, old age is the punishment. It's just the punishment. And old age begins sort of after 16, right? Just that, if anybody had any doubts about it. And they're on. But in the beginning, it's not so obvious yet, but after a while it gets obvious. All kinds of things start showing. And you start losing it. But Radharani is not undergoing the influence of time. Just as Krishna is Navyavanam, is eternally youthful, she also is blessed with eternal youth. So, Lavanyamrita Daya Tadabhadisana, Nijamaisham Patasati Parita. After her midday bath, Radharani takes another bath in the nectar of bhakti luster, and she puts on the garment of shyness, which is her black silk sari. So we are seeing in a very poetical way, it is described, however, different elements in her personality. A very compassionate spirit, then youthful, and then upon the luster, in effulgence, a very bright effulgence. It is described how the effulgence of Srimati Radharani is so bright that one time Radharani was planning to steal the fruit of Krishna. and it was a dark night. So Krishna was asleep, and that flute was sticking out of his belt. It seemed to be the perfect opportunity. There was only one complication. Although it was dark, she was so effulgent that everyone could see her. So, and therefore, she tried to harden the darkness, but she lit up the darkness and had to give up to that effort of stealing. What can we say? Since she was exposed by that bodily luster. That bodily luster, of course, is more than that. It is also, these are also rays of mercy. Anyone who gets touched by the bodily luster of Srimati Radharani, or even one who hears about the bodily luster of Srimati Radharani, all darkness disappears. It kills all the Maya within us. Krishna Surya Samaya, transcendental Krishna Surya Sam says here, Krishna is like the sun and Maya is like darkness. Wherever there is Krishna, there cannot be darkness. But in this case, Krishna Surya Sam, when we say Krishna, it also means Radharani. Because there is no difference. Radharani is directly Krishna. She is the direct expansion of Lord Krishna. She is his very being. She is his very self. There is no question that Radharani is separate from Krishna. That not only emotionally separate, in her very nature is that she is Krishna's very energy. She's very much part of Krishna. Of course, mind you, the same goes for us. We also, there's no question of being separated from Krishna. But for us, it's due to this sinfulness, it's deeply entrenched, this separate consciousness. Thus we think, there is Krishna, far away on the altar, and here are we. And there's a distance between us, illusory. But between Radha and Krishna, that distance is not there. One story which I like is the Prema Samputa story. The story which describes how one day in Yavat, which is the abode where Srimati Radharani resided after she had been married off to Abhimanyu. Why married to Abhimanyu? Was ever a worse match considered? I mean, the greatest mismatch that ever existed in history. Abhimanyu, Radharani, how is this possible? In this way, the only ladies in Vrindavan was speaking. But Purnasi was explaining, no, it was simply an arrangement because Kamsa had an eye on her. Kamsa had heard of her beauty. That reputation could not be hidden. It had even reached Mathura and Kamsa. So in order to make sure that Kamsa would not grab the girl, especially an unmarried girl, at least marry her off, and then even Kamsa at that time to even look at a married girl was something inconceivable. Of course, the times have changed. Only one world, one did Kamsa just look at. But even Kamsa was hesitating about that. Can you imagine? Anyway, I'm not speaking about demons today. I'm speaking about Srimati Radharani, embodiment of pure devotional service. So, in this way, she was married off to this Abhimanyu. Although he was totally unqualified, but simply like an illusory marriage. It is said that Abhimanyu never ever touched her. It is actually said that Abhimanyu was the shadow of Krishna, the shadow reflection of Krishna. So in this way, it was arranged that there was some sort of so-called husband, but not a real one. Anyway, she lived there in Yavat. And in Yavat, Srimati Radharani was one day alone with many of the other young girls, but Abhimanyu wasn't there. Even Jyotila, who was usually always watching her, Jyotila had gone out. Even Kuntila, the one who is described as the one girl in Vrindavan that is so beautiful that she has no attraction to Krishna whatsoever. She has breasts like string beans and a belly like a pot. This is from a nature of devotion. In case you think that I'm going off in some no, anyway, so in this way, Srimati Radharani resided there. And Vishaka was there. Vishaka, she is almost like a twin sister. Because Vishaka appeared exactly at the very same moment as Srimati Radharani. Thus, they are like, not only like appearing at the same time, but they are just extremely close. Extremely close. Oh, she was there. Kundalata, the daughter-in-law of Upananda, the elder brother of Nanda Maharaj, she was there. She was there. And it is said that that day, this effulgent personality appeared in the courtyard of the house in Javat. A very beautiful lady, but dressed in a crimson sari with like pink headscarf and so on, like so opulently dressed, like not from this world. So who is this lady? She must be some goddess, yes. And so Radharani sent some of her servants to go and find out, to greet the lady respectfully and find out what the purpose was of coming. No answer, nothing, quiet, completely quiet, just looking down. So Radharani thought that, okay, something wrong. Maybe personally goes. We personally went, and still the lady was not speaking. So finally, after she said, look, you must have some grief, right? You must have some grief in your heart. And if you have grief in your heart, it helps a lot when you speak about it. Although it feels like you cannot get any relief from this pain in your heart, if you speak about it to someone, you will find some relief. Right? And since we are also young girls, we are in a good position to understand. And of course, eventually the goddess speaks about and explains what the causes of the grief. And she says, I am a demigoddess, and we've been witnessing these pastimes of Radha and Krishna, and your pastimes. And we've seen how he treats you. We see how he treats you, and it's just too much. No, really, it is too much. I mean, so unfair. I mean, you give everything you have, always. And he's just a lambato. He's just completely unreliable. Here and there and everywhere, this flower, that flower. That is his nature. You can't trust him. Yeah. And still your love is unbroken. She said, no. She says, no. No, you don't understand. She says, Krishna and I are always together. Sometimes it looks as if we are separated, but we are never separated. Never ever for a moment are we separated. And then the goddess says, now I'm seeing the deep of you, the depth of your love. See how much you love Krishna. You love Krishna so much that you project your love upon him. And as you are always thinking of Krishna, you think that Krishna is always thinking of you. Oh, Radharani says, no, he's really always thinking of me, and I'm really always thinking of him. The goddess says, I wish I could believe it. I will only believe it if you, by your meditation upon Krishna, can bring in He said, okay, I will do that. All right. She took the challenge. She sat down and she thought deeply. She deeply meditated on Krishna and closed her eyes. And then, when she opened her eyes, Krishna was there. Krishna was there. And then she looked to tell the goddess, see? But the goddess had disappeared. Rest of the story you have to figure out. Anyway, this is the story of Vishnu and Thakur. Very nice story. Which is very deep. I like that story for various reasons. And one is because it shows the oneness of Radha and Krishna, which reminds me of Lord Chaitanya, Sri Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Radha, who is Radha Krishna combined. So in the Prema Samputa, I see Lord Chaitanya in that story. I see an explanation of the oneness of Radha and Krishna and how they can come together as one in one person, because they are one in consciousness. Because one is always absorbed in thought of the other. And in this way, they're one in purpose. One in purpose. Radharani was thinking of Krishna and could bring Krishna there. It was possible. We see in an example in Chaitanya Charitamrita between Lord Chaitanya and his servant Govinda, and how Govinda was such a servant that Govinda was so focused on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's needs that he, even without Mahaprabhu asking, he already knew what Mahaprabhu wanted. He already understood everything. And if there was the slightest gesture or the slightest token, say that Mahaprabhu sort of looked, and immediately, Govinda would understand. So I'm speaking about Govinda and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu to give some idea of the nature of service. And when Srimati Radharani is in the mood of serving Krishna, we can understand that she exceeds Govinda. She even exceeds Govinda in this. She understands even more what's on Krishna's mind, what Krishna desires. In fact, Srimati Radharani and the gopis, they know better what Krishna wants than what he knows himself. Sometimes he gets bewildered. Sometimes he doesn't know what he wants. Or worse, he wants the wrong thing. He wants to go to Mathura. Can you imagine? He wants to leave Vrindavan and go to Mathura. No, we have to stop him for his own good. We have to somehow hold him back. We have to hold it back. Grab those horses, grab those reins. Don't care about what the elders think. Now there's no more time for such social considerations. Now we have to save Krishna from bringing disaster upon himself and upon all of Vrindavan. The only place that can give him pleasure, where the only people are who can completely satisfy him. What will he do there in Mathura? He'll suffer. He'll suffer. Oh, he's going to build a city in the sea. What will he do in the sea? The sea, he cannot be separated from the owner for a moment. No ocean can give him pleasure. Only the owner. So, what does he want to do? And leave Vrindavan. In this way, sometimes it seems that Srimati Radharani may have a little bit of self-interest after all. Krishna wants to go to Mathura. Why don't they dance in front and throw flowers all the way? He wants to. We're serving Krishna here. No, we're serving Krishna. We have to even protect him from himself. Yes, in this way. So deep is the understanding of Krishna's nature in Srimati Radharani that she can fully please him. Therefore, we are the servants of the servants of the servants, 100 times removed of Srimati Radharani. Because who are we to serve Krishna? Still, we find also in the Chaitanya Charitamrita descriptions, when Krishna and Radharani meet in Ras Leela. That is such a pastime. They dance as long as the night of Brahma on the banks of the Krishna and the gopis. According to Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur, it is said that it appears that Krishna has expanded himself, and that there is one Krishna with Radharani, and between each two gopis there is one Krishna as well. And everyone sees that Krishna is looking at them. But Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur says, no, in Vrindavan, Krishna doesn't expand himself into many forms. He doesn't do that. That he does outside of Vrindavan, in Dwarka. He doesn't show such opulences. In Vrindavan, there's only one Krishna. Therefore, when all these Krishnas appear to be between the personalities and so on, then we know that it's only the same Krishna, but he's moving very fast. He's moving extremely fast. So he's moving so fast that it seems that he's between everyone. He's everywhere at the same time. That's how fast he moves. But only one Krishna says, Vishnu Chakravarti. So, Srimati Radharani is pleasing Krishna by her bath in compassion, which is her first meditation, by her bath in youthfulness, which is the next feature of her consciousness. Youthfulness is not only looking in a certain way, it also means playful. Very playful. Because Radha and Krishna are not mature old people who share some wisdom with each other. That is really wise thought this morning. That's very nice. No, nothing like that. Playful, right? Like young people, youthful, playful. Playing games. Oh yes, many. And Yoga Maya, although they are one, Yoga Maya makes them forget what the other one is. So then she puts on the garment of shyness. Shyness is attractive in a lady, so it is said. It is one of the ornaments of a lady. Fine speech is another one. Fine intelligence, fine speech, and shyness are ornaments in a lady. Fine speech. It's not easy to come up to this level of purity. It is recommended. And some can master this. Some, but not everyone. But Radharani, she has this mood of shyness also on top of the other. So it covers. And then, so this is a black silk saree, this garment of shyness, which covers her youthfulness, her bodily luster, her passion, all these qualities are a little hidden. Srimati Radharani's affection for Krishna is her upper garment, which is pinkish in color. She then covers her breast with another garment, composed of affection and anger towards Krishna. So we see there are different shells, different layers in her consciousness towards Krishna. It's complicated. Right? She is, like it is said in the descriptions about the relationship between Radha and Krishna and the gopis. There it says that women are by nature crooked. Now, don't misunderstand that, oh sinful men. The sinful men will immediately take advantage of this and will quote me 1,000 times. It will go viral. It's already live streamed on Facebook anyway. So this will go viral. Women are crooked will become the title of the video. But the truth of the matter is, not crooked in the ways of sinful people, O sinful man. No, another type of crookedness, a pure crookedness. Completely pure. Pure crookedness. We never heard of that. No, because we grew up and froze. And we don't know such things. Pure crookedness. But pure crookedness means that in order to increase the taste of loving exchanges, everything is hidden layer after layer. And the core of the real love is not just right there all the time. No, it's hidden. And sometimes hidden behind. Sometimes affection and then anger. Affection and anger. And then shyness. And behind that, meanwhile there's tilak, which is described when Srimati Radharani is being dressed. They spend hours on the tilak. And they make this dot there, and it's like, not just a dot. Forget it, it's like the maid servants are like working on a whole pattern into this dot. Like super dot. So just the dot alone makes one blink with the eyes. Whoa! That. Every detail is just overwhelming. So much effort is put in, and there's time for that to make it perfect. And everyone that is involved is perfect at the various arts. So, therefore I always say, Radharani dresses to kill. To put it in contemporary terms. There's no doubt about it. I mean, the way she dresses is just meant to drive the mind of Krishna completely mad. Just by walking past. And then being shot. Meanwhile, completely bubbling and useful and like devoted, like anything. Krishna's trying to sort of figure it out. It's confusing. Therefore, it is not surprising that Krishna many times is in a state of total confusion. Srimati Radharani's personal beauty is the reddish powder known as kumkum. Her affection for her associates is sandalwood. It cools all the heat on sandalwood. And it's very fragrant, very pleasant inspiration from Krishna. But she's cool. So in this way, she's described here. She's described here as dressed in multiple layers. It is a very poetic description of her consciousness compared to wearing a dress. And in the same way, Krishna's Kaviraj is also describing how she's dressing in a very elegant way, and so on. And yet, what he's really describing is her consciousness. But on the other hand, he's also describing how she's dressing. So that we get both. We get a taste of both in these verses. So the verses are very deep. But the essence is that that love is not cheap. Just as we are seeing when Radharani is seeing Krishna, she naturally smiles. That's inevitable. It's stronger than herself. But she knows that she can't do this because socially she is, it's a forbidden relationship. It's a secret relationship. So therefore, she suppresses the smile. All that you see is a little curl on the corner of her mouth. Krishna, though, immediately picks it up. And as a result, he starts smiling a little bit. And then Srimati Radharani sees that Krishna has picked up the little curl on the corner of her mouth, that she was smiling. And that he is smiling. as a result. And her smile increases. And Krishna sees that she has picked up that he was smiling because she was secretly smiling. And therefore Krishna starts to increase his smile. And then Radharani sees that Krishna is smiling because he saw that she had increased her smiling, because she saw that he was seeing that she was smiling at the corner of her mouth. And in this way, Krishna starts to increase his smiling. And this goes, oh, no. And then it's their smile. I mean, let me tell you, how long are we going to stand here smiling? But in this way, the noble nature of this love is just amazing. And of course, one of my favorite quotes, which I think is essential, is from Adivila 4, which is an Charitambhita, where it is described that there's a competition between the qualities of Krishna and the love of Krishna. And each time Srimati Radharani discovers another quality of Krishna, she loves that quality also. And then she discovers still another quality of Krishna, which she also loves. And in this way, her love for Krishna is eternally increasing. And just as the smiling example, when Krishna sees that increasing love in her, then his love for her is also increasing. And when Radharani sees that love in Krishna is increasing for her, then her love for him is increasing. And in this way, it is increasing eternally. Then there are all these other gopis who are expansions of Srimati Radharani. The Sakhis, they are the expansions of Srimati Radharani. And then there are the Jivas, the Manjaris, who are the assistants of the Sakhis. And they all share in that transcendental ecstasy. And they also love. And their love is also increasing and growing. And then there are the cowherd boys, and their love is also increasing. And Nanda and Yasoda, and their love is increasing. And Yasoda thinks, if only Radharani could have been my daughter-in-law. Right? And yes, Durvasa Muni, somehow or other, this girl is very expert because she managed to please Durvasa Muni, which is very hard. Very hard, you know. I mean, you can easily make a mistake and then he curses, or he's heavy. Well, watch out for Durvasa Muni, but she just knows exactly how to deal with him. So please do bless her that whatever she would cook, right, would always be new and ever fresh, and ever new taste like never tasted before, and that it would give youthfulness and eternal life to whoever would eat it. Therefore, Yasoda, the queen of Vrindavan, insists that Radharani comes to cook, and Purnamasi is convincing Jatila that it's a good idea because then they'll become very wealthy. But you get the point. And thus, Radharani every day is carrying a palanquin, fanned by her maidservants, to the house of Yasoda, where early in the morning Rohini has already started cooking, and then Radharani comes in the kitchen, and then she starts cooking, and just cooking and a huge meal for breakfast, and then Yasoda is there to serve it out personally and says, "Come on, eat, you know, you're not eating anything." And he's like eating huge quantities. Radharani stands in the back, not in the front, but in the back, because she cannot serve directly. But Yasoda is very pleased and gives her so many gifts. In the morning, Yasoda is packing a big trunk and putting in many things. Krishna says, "Mother, what are you doing? You're making a beautiful box filled with so many things. Who is that for? Is it for me? No, it's not for me. No. Everything is always for Krishna, you know. So he's sort of a little spoiled in that way. He's like, it's not for me, not for you. Then, who is it for? Finally, it comes out that daughter of Krishna Then Krishna takes everything out of that trunk and enters into it himself. Then, later, Abhimanyu is sent to bring that trunk. And carries it all the way to Yavana. Places it in Srimati Radharani's Krishna Chakravarti Thakur describes all these things. Very sweet and nice. So we are today just meditating. Now I'm just talking a little bit. We are supposed to have a darshan in 3 minutes, so I'm not going to do question and answers. I'm on the schedule for 3 lectures today, so if you have questions, you can save for later. We simply end now and get ready for the darshan. Thank you very much. Shri Radhashtami Mahahansa Ki Jai. Ananda Kuti Vaishnava Ki Jai. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare